Rip it.
Max, you're not on the agenda, but you've been here twice, so I'm gonna put you in on the tail end of the 3 leases that we're reviewing, so. Let's see, public comment. Laura, you had something.
Yeah, quickly. Thank you, Chair, for.
Mike, Mary Ann's gonna make you go to the mic.
mic.
You don't want her to have to come out of her room.
I know
That's
the
right.
rules, I know the rules.
Is it on? Is that on?
Thank you, committee. Yeah, it's on. It's on. Laura Campbell, Cohog Bay Conservancy. I have 3 quick things. Cohog Bay Conservancy is partnering with the Gulf Marine Research Institute for a mussel bed mapping exercise on June 18th in front of the townhouse in the morning before the townhouse opens. Oh, okay. So I sent a message about that to your committee chair and to the Selectman Gilly to invite people to register. Second, the lobster hatchery is open and functioning. We have thousands of lobster larvae eating a variety of diets. I'd like to invite the committee to come take a look. I sent some photos to your committee chair and to Selectman Gilly to circulate since we've talked about it in front of the committee before. And then I just wanted to notify the committee that I've invited our 4 Cohog Bay Conservancy interns plus our intern coordinator to participate or to listen to the discussion today. Thank you.
Perfect. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Anybody else? Anything that's not on the agenda? Yep.
Hi, I'm Holly Parker, Director of the Schiller Coastal Studies Center. Just want to piggyback on Laura. We are also hosting the mussel mapping event at the Schiller Center on June 18th on our property. So we'd love to have people come by.
Very good. Thank you.
What time?
7:30 to 9:30.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Laura, is Quahog the same time?
Yeah,
Here.
it's at the negative low tide that day to do mussel mapping in the intertidal area, so it's very ready to start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any committee announcements? Anybody else? Public comment? Oh, any committee announcements?
Real quick, it's on, I think, the green light's on, so. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. is the grand opening of the Mitchell Field Farm launch, if anybody wants to go and attend. We will be launching the Harbor Master boat. That's the plan. It will be dead low tide, too, so we will get to see if it is a true low tide launch.
Good job.
That's all I have.
Good job. Anything else? Anybody? No? Hopefully at least two of you reviewed the minutes. Everybody's good with that? Can we get a motion to approve? Samantha.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Good job.
Everybody,
Good
all in
job.
favor? Thank you, guys.
Team effort.
All right, we have 4, actually, leases to review. I'm absolutely terrible with names. Is it Tory?
Yep.
Yep, Middle Bay Tory. Come on up. You're first.
Is it the blue dot?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I overlaid his information with our fisheries map, so
Okay.
he already has 2 LPAs right there, and he's looking to put 2 more to maximize his footprint on the same spot, basically. And I think the only issue for you guys is going to be, he would prefer to be seaward of his current ones, and that obviously puts him in the Pogie territory, so you guys need to decide how you feel about that. I only have 1 blue pin, but there's 2. I ran out of time today. Figured you get the gist.
Any chance you'd be willing to add on the inshore side?
Yeah, I mean, it gets a little shallow on the other side. We want it to be like, on the further outside, just, we thought we'd overwinter slightly better, and like if the water was just a tiny bit deeper. We're happy to like snug them up, as close as, we want to be like amenable to the Pogie fishery, so.
Could you run them in a line also rather than
We could do that.
blocks?
Yeah, we could do that.
Follow that same depth contour?
Yeah, because it should be deep enough there.
And we're still, sorry, I'm the assistant/wife. But we're still in the, like, if you see the yellow dots to the south, or like, sorry, not us, but.
Oh, you mean the other, yeah.
The other farms.
Yeah.
We're still on the, like,
Yeah, we're like kind of in line with the other farms. So we, yeah.
over there, but that's why I wanted to just discuss to make sure we're not in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Another question I had, I may be wrong, but page 9, it looked like the application might possibly be incomplete. I'm not sure of that.
Let's see.
If I can scroll down here far enough. Yeah, anchorages or moorings, state or federal beaches, docking facilities, none of the above. I don't see anything checked off on page 9. Did you
But
have,
did I check?
did
that?
you have questions, or oh,
I
maybe,
think
is it on
the
page 8?
previous page I checked.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
yep, you're
There
right,
you go.
you're right, I'm
Two
sorry,
other
my mistake. Yep.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's
Shows
it.
you're reading them. That's good, George.
Well, I kind of got down to that page and there was nothing checked off. I
Yeah.
didn't think to look on the page before. My bad, sorry. So I guess, other than, I guess we didn't come up with anything really. Are you gonna try to put them in line or go inshore, or are you willing to do that, or?
Yeah, if you think it would be in the way of the pogie fisher, we don't want to do that. So we could move them in line if that works better for everyone.
I think that would certainly avoid any conflict.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine with us.
And I don't think, you don't need to reapply or anything. Is he able to just change his?
You haven't submitted this yet, right? We're in the.
No,
Yep,
yeah.
so that's
just
the whole
submit it to
point of
you
them
guys.
coming. So
Yeah.
he can give new coordinates, and then if you guys are good with it, I can sign off on the harbor master
Yep,
page.
if you just make that adjustment, I think
Okay.
you're good to go.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Perfect, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Let's see, next we have Donahue, is that correct, middle A? Yep. Yep,
My name's Alex, first name's
Alex.
So my application is, there are a lot of blank spots, purposely left a lot of stuff blank. Just because I wanted to talk with you guys first before filling anything out.
All right, his is a little unusual looking because I basically, let me turn on the other one too. He used the DMR aquaculture web map to kind of demonstrate these circles are density limit areas for where there's already existing aquaculture leases. And then this purple is kind of the area that is still open and not crossing the boundaries of the density limits for the other leases. And you had 2 sites. Let me get the other one open too.
So this is the primary area that I'm looking at right now, is just right off of Little Birch Island.
There we go.
If that is an issue, hopefully it's not. But if it is an issue, I have a couple other spots that I'll just kind of eyeballing.
There. So to be clear, you're looking to put LPAs right here where the red pins are.
The red pins would be the preferred just because it is a little bit deeper. Just to overwinter the gear, keep it away from the ice. But I can move in a little bit more to where that yellow dots are, which is still probably deep enough. It's getting a little close to too shallow, but that would also still work.
What is that red stuff? The lobstering, Darcy?
Yes, this is
Like a long-
Pogie, this is Pogie territory.
That's bogey, and then
Yeah,
there's
and then the
red.
hash marks here are the lobstering
But
in the
I
area.
think I see red inside, like, so there's pogey.
No, ignore this. This is
No,
like
not
weird
that.
stuff.
Right on his red
This is
dots.
Pogie. Yeah, it's just a weird color because of
Okay.
how it's projected.
Okay.
I did
Gotcha.
georeference some stuff and
It
throw it on
looked
there.
very, yeah.
So this is Pogie territory that follows these contours.
Sam. I'm like, what is she looking at?
I see red slashes there, so
Yeah,
I'm
now
like,
that
it
you
looks
said
like
that, it does.
lobstering.
Go for the shape,
See?
not the color. Okay, dots are Pogies.
Seeing things.
And the red dots, when I went out there at low tide, it was about 10 feet, which would be great because I intend on sinking a couple cages prior to harvesting, just, in case there's a lot of bird activity out there. And I'll just help keep it away from the rest of the gear. But if necessary, I can move closer to that contour line.
This is 4 LPAs?
This year, I only plan on submitting 2.
Oh, so this is just 2?
Projecting out
Okay.
if I do get 4.
My concern is just the sheer density along that entire shoreline.
Well, I'm
Both
seeing,
fishermen, that pretty much fills in the last gap there is for how far, I mean, they go down for
Yeah.
miles.
You can see the cluster of like LPAs here, here, here. This is what we're talking about tonight, and then they continue on down. Essentially, every 1,000 feet along this whole Birch Island shoreline is.
That closes that whole shoreline out at that point, really.
So that was gonna be my only thing I said, just looking at the map, that it just seems like a lot is going on all right there, and
And that's something that we're supposed to look at, is the density in an area. And that's a lot going on, small area. And what impact does it, what other fisheries get shut out? Because, I mean, it's gonna be hard to send a trawl down through there when, you might as well send one here and there, but when you have an LPA every 1,000 feet, and so, and then to try to set a bogey net in between them and not drift on top of them. Oh, yeah. I was supposed to say all that into this. Yeah, it was, now it's. Now it's on. Is it on? Yeah.
There you go.
I was supposed to say all that into this.
There you go.
The density would be my only concern. I'll just repeat that part of it.
And the smaller red circles that I have on there, those are measured out to 300 feet. So it's 300 feet from the island, which is kind of right where the eelgrass stops, according to the map. So, I mean, I can try to tuck in as best as possible. Stay out of the deeper water if necessary, but.
I don't think it's so much that. I think it's that if you notice where the line starts and it just goes down and it's all these leases, all these big leases, and that's the only spot that doesn't have. So where we need to be thinking about how much is too much right there. Do we need to fill the whole coastline with all these leases, or do we need to have some of that left open for other fisheries? That's why the map exists.
Right.
So we're not worried about the conflict. Because it doesn't work well for you, and it doesn't work well for the other fisheries if we have a conflict, right?
Right. No, I agree.
So that's more what we're looking at, is like you have all your stuff mapped out, that all makes sense, but it's like that one strip right there, that's all that's open. That's all that's left right there. And if we lease it out, we don't even know what the changes could be for the coastline having all these leases right now. You know what I mean? We don't even have any, this is just my personal thing, is right, and we don't have any research to say how much is too much. So that's what we need to look at, right? Is not just for you, but for the other fisheries that are there too.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I don't want to step on any other fisheries' toes or anything like that.
No, I
I
appreciate that.
want to be friends, but
Yeah, and I think coming and having a discussion shows
Yeah.
that that's what you want to do, so.
for sure.
Certainly a good place to start. So our policy is to review, not to advise on location. We review the applications. My only advice that I'm able to give is that you do look at the legacy map, and I think you've already done that, maybe. And that doesn't guarantee that you'll get approved, but it certainly makes your chances a lot better, avoiding conflict. If there's anything we can do for you, policy-wise or avenues for your next step, certainly we'd be happy to do that. But
Well, you said he had other spots in mind besides this one, right?
This was the primary one. This one kind of gives me the most room. I do have a couple other spots. There's one down towards like the southern end of Birch Island,
Want to go point so you can?
which is like real tucked in there.
Here, let me make you a bigger one.
There's this spot here, but that is really tucked in there. It'll be really close. I know he's got some there, so it'll kind of mimic what he's doing there, but it would be a little bit more difficult for me specifically.
I think it's.
unfortunately, we can't give you any advice on that.
No.
But if you can get something solid, you know, what you're interested in, and try to fill out the application as much as you can. If you have questions, we're certainly not gonna hold you up because you didn't know the answer to a question or something. That's actually why we're here, to help you through that process.
Right, and I can fill out the application. I have no problem with that. The big thing was trying to get that original position locked down with you guys, and then just filling out the application rather than having to rewrite it. Like
We're not able to do that, unfortunately. We can, I think we've given you the information we can about, I mean, you can apply. That's about all I can tell you.
I just try to find an area that has less density of aquaculture, because that kind of seems to be the thing that the committee seems to be concerned with, is just the sheer density of the aquaculture in that area. And that's something that we're supposed to look at, is the density. So maybe somewhere, I mean, even, I'm not supposed to recommend it, so.
Right. The state may tell you something completely different than what we're telling you too, as well. I don't know if you've reached out to them or not.
This is the first step.
Yeah.
I haven't reached out to the state yet. I don't want to jump over you guys.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you can find a spot that there's no conflict, we are happy to stamp it for you, and the DMR likes that. It eases their burden somewhat as far as research.
All right.
Matt, is there anything that's like, you know, a percentage or anything that can even give us any guidance, or that's something we can talk to Carl about? Because it does seem like, I mean, maybe he would fit and then we stop. I don't know, because we don't have any guidance of a percentage or what should be covered or not covered. I mean, at this point, they could just cover the whole coastline, because we don't have any guidance.
So it's kind of guidance, but not really. It's very minimal. But basically, that 1,000-foot buffer that the DMR puts is meant to be their version of making sure you don't have 20 LPAs all lined up butt to cheek next to each other. So from their perspective, I think that was their attempt to create some level of spreading it out, and that's what we're seeing along that whole shore of Birch Island.
But that being said, with zero thought of any other fishery but this.
Yeah, because you look and they're everywhere.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
They're everywhere, all of Casco Bay.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah, it's
I see them.
hard to find a spot.
It is.
So you can't make any suggestions? Is that?
We're not supposed to.
We can't do it? Okay.
Well, I think we
That
did.
was- I
It's
think
just
that was-
finding less density, if that's a possibility. I mean, that just makes it easier for us when there's less conflict and less stuff going on, but.
And that was one of the whole reasons I left it somewhat open on the application, was
Right.
to be able to give options. I didn't want to come in
They
here with
will
a
be.
set
We're gonna have all
spot,
the
get
layers.
denied, and then have to start all over again.
Right.
And I wanted to have a little bit of flexibility.
We don't want that either.
Yeah.
No.
Not to have the not in my backyard attitude, but Allison and I are actually on another committee, and we've had this discussion with other committee members, and the state is very different in certain, in other towns. The situation we were talking about with one person, there's, like this girl that's doing it, she's the only one in the whole town. And she wants to expand a little bit. So it's not really an issue for her. Harpswell's been a target for sure, Casco Bay. So just,
1/7 of all the leases in the state are in Harpswell.
it's tough, it's tough. We're running out of room. Only so much real estate, unfortunately. But if you can find something, we'll certainly be willing to,
That was my one shot,
yeah.
really for Harpswell. I'm already driving an hour to get to the boat ramp, so any further to the east is probably out of the question for me. So.
You live in Harpswell?
No, I live in Wyndham.
Oof. You're gonna
DMR
waste more in gas than you're gonna make moisture. Trust me, I know. Sell you mine. Oh. Yeah, all right.
All right, who's up next?
Next up, Skillen, Gunpoint Cove.
Sorry about that. Hi, guys.
Are you speaking on his behalf? Is he gonna be?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the way it's gotta go.
Someday,
right now.
right?
Eventually,
There you go.
hopefully. Right? Yeah, he doesn't like this. So, well, I've never done this before, so. Jim Hayes has an oyster farm, and he wanted me to take it over, because I was interested in doing so. I've helped him in the spring and in the fall with his gear and everything, and he's decided to retire. And I was wondering if there was any way that we could transfer it over. It's an existing site, there's nothing extra or new for it.
No changes. Darcy, you got any?
Yeah, so like, just so we're clear, there's no actual transfer of LPAs. What would happen is he can apply for it if you guys are okay with the location, which is right, this is Jim Hayes's LPA right here. And then we're in Gunpoint Cove, just for reference. It is nice and tucked in behind some ledges. It's actually a great spot. So he can apply for it with the caveat that if DMR were to grant him, that spot, at that point, Jim would then give it up, because there's a, 1.5 to 2 year process before they would actually grant anything to it. So Jim can get it up whenever he wants, but if they're going to work together on it, Jim's going to have to maintain ownership of it until there's a decision made for him to apply for that spot. So
I just
really,
wanna
it's
get
just,
approval from
how do
you
you
guys
guys feel about him moving into that spot and Jim stepping out? That's what he's looking to do.
Anybody? Any comment? Yeah, if it's existing, I don't think there's any issue with this committee. We're not gonna try to unring the bell, so.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, guys.
You've never, and just to confirm, you've never heard any complaints at Harvard?
Nope. No, it's a really nice, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't show it that much, but there's some ledges right there, which makes it a nice protective hole for putting a little farm in there, and it's not in the way of traffic that goes through there. You'd be driving over rocks to get in there
Right.
to get it, so.
I didn't think there was any complaints.
Yeah, and if he were to expand, there's plenty of room in there for him to stay in that little cove and not creep out into the channel.
So Darcy, just to reiterate, Jim would maintain ownership. I don't know your first name.
Jared.
Jerry would apply. It isn't a transfer.
It's not, limited purpose aquaculture sites cannot be transferred. They're a one owner, one shot. And then the DMR will entertain the understanding that he's trying to get that spot, and that Jim will sign a letter saying, I agree to give this up if you grant this LPA to Jared, so that if they want to work together on it, that way there's no gap in the production.
Yeah,
So I think that's
thank you.
pretty straightforward.
I guess I have a question. Is there another name on his lease currently, or is he just one name?
It's his name, and he has his grandson on
Oh,
there,
okay.
but his grandson is in the military and does not plan on living.
Can that secondary name be changed?
Yes.
Is that might be an avenue for you as well?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just a question.
I think it has to be renewed next year
Yeah.
in order for that to happen.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Well,
Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
yeah.
Max, you're up next. I think you're just doing like a revision to something we've already looked at. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got it.
After 3 trips now.
He's still
Well, the-
smiling. It's amazing.
The commissioner was.
Just happy to be here.
I was excited to get bumped off the agenda last time with the commissioner here. That was a treat. I was a little scared when I walked into the parking lot. But yeah, so this was over to Bombazine Island on the east side. So the way we left it. So this is actually, it was just to reiterate. So because it's been a couple months.
Yeah.
So same sort of situation with Jared and Jim Hayes here. So there was a site that I was operating on. It had been a site for 16 years. The previous owner, Sean Shannon, was getting out of it, and I wanted to continue operating on that site. And so that was the process for that is a reapplication. So that's why I showed up last time, was to reapply, so I could continue working that site. But the issue is this site is in on the map. It's in Pogie territory, and so we had left it like maybe I could look elsewhere. And I looked elsewhere and didn't find much. So what I'm wondering is if we could reconsider that.
This site's already existing?
It's been existing for 16 years.
Is it still being used, or?
No, it lapsed last year because they changed the rules, and I couldn't, because they had this owner-operator requirement, which I think I should have known about, but I didn't prepare soon enough, and so I couldn't operate on it last year.
And that's when the pokies were caught.
So all the stuff is gone now, currently?
Stuff is gone now.
So you actually want to go back to the same spot that we spoke about before?
Yeah.
Okay. This is tough. This,
Because when there's landing reports from fish being caught,
Yeah.
where that pretty darn close to where your GPS coordinates would end up being.
Yeah, it was within a few hundred feet that the pogies were caught on the, or at least that landing report was.
And this too is why like they're LPAs, because like my spot, they used to catch pogie there all the time. Who knows? Next renewal, I could get kicked out of there. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we need to get back in here. There's a lot going on. I'm never guaranteed. So I think that's what we're also getting at is like, now it's a hot area again.
Yeah.
And
We've been able to get along for 16 years though, a couple cycles, and I haven't had any issues with pogie fishermen. I wasn't there all 16 years. I was only there the past few. But you go back through the records, and there's been sites there for a while. Some of the first sites on the New Meadows River were there. Maybe the first.
anybody? Anything?
But I guess the only thing I would,
You feel her eyes upon you. Is that what it was?
I guess the only thing I would say to that is there's not going to be conflict when you're there because they wouldn't be able to set a net. You know, and as soon as that disappeared, we saw that they had the ability to set the net. So I agree that there may not be conflict, you know, if your LPA went back there. But where I guess I would disagree is that would be a lost area that they have now begun to utilize, gaining it back, and now they're going to lose it again for as long as you have that lease. I mean, they had lost it for 16 years, and as soon as it opened, they were right back in there. You know, they're not going to set their net there when there's an active LPA going on, but as soon as they had the opportunity, they did. You know, so that's, I guess, where I struggle is I don't want to take it away from them again where they finally got it back after 16 years and it was immediately utilized just to see them lose it again.
We're in a pickle here because I said I'd never go against the fisheries map, but the legacy map, but you've exhausted pretty much all avenues. I mean,
And I would almost consider that this is a legacy because it's been there for 16 years.
I mean, it was existing and.
I think it should be on the map.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the jerk, and I'm used to it, so it's fine. We said no for a reason, and I just would stick with what we said. And I don't wanna keep coming back, I don't wanna set a precedent. I think you've been awesome, I don't wanna take that away from you of trying to work with this, but the whole reason this exists is for that reason. And when Matt says things like that, when fishermen, this is why we have to make this work, for the betterment of both,
Yeah.
you know, and it's hard to have these conversations, but we have to have them if we want all the fisheries to exist together.
Yeah.
And I don't want to set a precedent where, you know, you come back and then you hit us again. It's like, I just feel like the mom and the teenager kind of thing, like, if you beat me enough down, I'm like, yes, it's fine, just do it. And I don't want to set that precedent for this, and I know it sucks, but I'm still where we were at before. So.
You told us before you have other leases in this area. How many?
They're on the other side of Bombazine Island.
These green lines up
Yeah,
there.
those green lines.
How many do you have? 2?
It's actually one split into two
One split into
slivers.
two.
Yeah.
Max, what's the status of this? Is this still pending for?
Yeah, there's nothing on that.
All right.
One thing here's another option. I'll run it by you. I had applied I was hoping to get 4 sites. What about 2? We reduce the area of potential conflict in half. We go from 1,600 square feet to 800 square feet. Take half the gear out. Still allow me to work there, but there's more potential for setting. Could that work?
But then does it turn into that you come back and you're gonna want to grow it after that?
I can give you my word that I'm not going to apply for any more LPAs in that area. How's that?
I mean, I would defer to the guy.
I mean, it's still a lost area, you
Right.
know, whether they're not gonna sit,
1, 2,
right? I mean, that doesn't really give them, like, they're not gonna sit right against your cage, you know what I mean, with a bogey net, or they're gonna really try not to, something, but it's still a lost area in my mind. But I don't get a boat either.
Matt, a question. Is it that pogies are there now and weren't there before? Or is it that they've been there but they couldn't set nets?
It's there a little bit of both. They've shown up. A little bit of both. They've shown up in the last 7 or 8 years. A lot. There was none 10 years ago, or 16 years ago. The last 7. What would you say, Seth? Probably. What's it been now? They've been around 8 years, 9 years.
I don't know about over there. In the last few years, those guys have been. Some of our guys have been going up there.
Right.
I know back in high school, there used to be pokey die-offs there all the time.
Exactly. When I was a kid, I remember playing down on the shoreline, knee deep in them. And then they disappeared for 20 years, and it wasn't until the last 8 or 9 years that they finally showed back up. And that is one of the areas that they congregate. I mean, I've been up there in years and seen over 100 boats right in that area, just because of the way. You have the current coming through Gurnett, the current coming down the New Meadows and everything. There's like an eddy right there. And the fish congregate there. I've seen a lot of fish get caught in that area.
What's that big white square?
This was a pending
Oh.
lease that the DMR has been sitting on for a couple of years now. I don't know when you guys submitted that. Is that
So I thought that's what we were looking at. Where exactly is he looking to go? Right where your cursor is?
It would be inside that area.
In that shaded
But it would
red
be
area.
in that white area, but it would be probably 1/100th of that area. You'd barely be able to.
Right, it'd
yeah.
just be like a
Yeah.
Max? How big was that
Tiny
application?
square.
That was 5 acres.
Yeah, so this was a lease that they put in, I don't know how long ago. This is marked as pending on the DMR website, meaning.
But leases take that long.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
could happen.
I personally, this is just me, looking at the fisheries maps that we have now, I don't think DMR is going to put a 5-acre lease right on the Pogie territory. So that's kind of a large ask. So
I think that ship sailed.
yeah. So he's looking at like one of these little yellow triangles to put a couple of those in here, not this big thing. That's still pending, hanging out there.
If
But
they
no
were to
matter the
approve,
size, it still has to have so many feet away
yeah, I
from
was
it.
gonna say, if they were to approve that, that would actually disqualify you, I believe, because you'd be too close, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, if there's a lease there, I can't have an LPA that, yeah, so.
They may mark you down as pending as well, until they figure out what they're gonna do with that one.
Yep,
I don't know,
yeah,
just a question.
yep.
So, unfortunately, I don't think we have a good answer for you. Not the one you were hoping for, at least.
Yeah. So it would be just as unreasonable to have 2 rather than 4 in the area? Is that the?
For me, I thought we were looking at the white area. I didn't understand that that was a pending lease already. So that kind of changes things quite a lot. Have you spoken with the state about this spot, or?
Let's see. No, I mean, they don't really talk to people.
That was the whole purpose of last month's meeting, with
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
close that.
I thought it was
gap.
great.
Yeah.
Trying to close that gap.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I think if you were to make contact with them and ask them what's going on with this lease that's pending, that would certainly change things. That may even open up an avenue for you as well. I don't know.
gotcha. All right, so I take it as a no then, even if we reduce it. It's a no.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
well, unfortunately, I think so.
No, that's all I need. I appreciate. I don't want to take any more of your time. I appreciate the opportunity.
You've definitely jumped through hoops just to get to this point. So
Yep.
I think you've exhausted.
Yep, I'm exhausted.
Your avenues.
But thanks for having me and thanks for your time.
I'd be interested to hear what the state had to say about that, actually, so.
Yep,
You got my email, so let me know how you make out.
absolutely, we'll do.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Max.
George, if you are willing to entertain it, I don't know if you guys are going to plan to meet in July or not. There's one other guy, I didn't want to load you with 4 on the agenda.
Oh, okay, yeah, come
There's
on
one
up.
guy in the audience that I was like, we might get to you, we might not.
No, come on up.
Brendan, good.
Thank you very much.
I didn't give you any of his material because it's just a
We got time.
check and
Printouts if you want to
see.
passed around.
I'm gonna just pull the
You
map
can
up
bring it up.
and we can talk about where you're gonna be. You're in Long Cove, right?
Sure, yeah, Long Cove.
All right. Oh, it's really late. I'm
Do
getting.
you have an application?
Oh, sorry, yes,
Here
it's
we go.
Brendan, Brendan, Casey, Casey. Thank you. Yep.
Do you have a completed application?
I do.
Okay. Do we have that, Darcy?
No, because like I said, I didn't think we'd actually get him in, but I'm like, show up, maybe we'll squeeze you in.
Is it complete?
Yes, pretty much. He wants to check on Long Cove. So these are existing LPAs. These belong to Mark Davis and Jamie Davis in Long Cove. This is the Oars Island Bridge, just for reference. And he would like to be in this gap down here.
We pokey fish in there a lot.
Who does?
We do.
You pokey fish there a lot?
Just in the skiff, but yes. But I mean, not so much like along the edge, but all down through there.
Yeah, these are tucked, the Davis LPAs are tucked pretty close to the shoreline, and in this other divot, he might be able to operate the same way, but I don't know how much that would impact you guys. If that's,
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a
Like,
tight
we're not
turn in there,
right
but-
close to the edge. We are. Like,
Yeah, there's no eelgrass in here,
we're
so
more
there's no
to the
set off that he
opposite
needs.
side, but,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know much about all that. I just go with him.
Yeah.
Why did you pick that spot? Because it's protected, or?
Yeah, because it's protected
Fits in a little
and wouldn't
cove.
get in people's way, was the hope, and accessible, like reasonably accessible.
Can we blow that up some more, Darcy?
Yep, sure.
Yeah, and you want to go in that little bite right
Yeah.
there?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, stick to the shallow area to like keep out of the channel, make sure I'm not interfering with the pokey operation.
And how many are you asking?
Just one.
What's the square footage?
400 square feet.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be pretty small to fit in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. I'm not seeing any issue with it.
You think you're all right to turn around in there?
Yeah, no, we're fine to turn.
I see you guys go in there all the time.
Yeah, no, we're in there a lot, but I don't ever remember setting along that side so much. It was always,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were all over there on Tuesday. There's a whole bunch up in here. I was almost gonna call someone.
Right?
We need a phone tree.
Yeah, right?
Really?
I was gonna say, yeah,
Whole fleet will be there tomorrow
got
morning.
really excited. We're all gonna be
Everybody's
in
gonna
there.
be calling your phone nowadays.
Look, he's writing it. No, let me call my dad.
Yeah, let's stay on track here, so. Yeah, good thing you're not there now. There'll be 40 boats there tomorrow morning.
Yeah, right. And Debbie would probably deny you. Like, you know how many boats are in there?
So, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just one along that side part.
These little nooks we're finding, like where Jared wants to go, and this little spot are kind of, I think, some of the last spots that are tucked away enough so that they can go there. We're running out of those for
Seems
sure.
to be the key. If you get in behind a ledge or a little nook like that, you're protected and a lot less conflict, so.
So you guys are good with him to pursue?
I am, if everyone else is.
I'm fine if Sam's fine.
And just so you know, we do not currently have any other pending LPA applications. So if you guys do want to take some time off for July.
Yep, good.
it'd be a
We'll
good
do
time
that.
to do it.
We're gonna discuss that under new business.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
So
Okay.
does this need the checklist or?
Yeah, so also to be clear, the checklist was really more, the whole checklist was really more for Paul to keep you guys from wandering off into territory.
We don't do that. What do you mean?
I know. Really, our job that we're reviewing is interfering with navigation or fishing. So it's up to DMR to make sure that it's the right size and he's not too close to other LPAs and all that other stuff.
But
So,
just for our purposes, we're not needing to do
correct,
that. Okay.
yeah.
We're better focused now, is what she said. That's all
You are a
we heard.
mature committee doing a good job right now.
If we don't have the
Mature.
application in front of us, we
Right.
can't really do the checklist,
Yep.
so. We're just we're gonna take your word for it, Darcy, that it's complete, so.
Okay, great.
I guess we're
Great.
good. Good
Thank you
luck.
very much. Thanks for your time.
Good luck with DMR. So that's it? That's all the
That's
nice.
it for LPAs. Good job, you guys. That was a big list.
That was well done.
Next, we have one or two ladies from the Maine Coastal Fishermen's Association. Julia had some questions for us.
Thank you, committee. I'm Hannah McDonald, and I'm at Maine Coast Fishermen's Association. I'm the Director of Policy and Innovation, and we're lucky enough to have Bowdoin interns this summer. Julia is one of those, and she's interested in the nexus between fisheries and their trust in science. And so she has a couple of questions she's going to ask the committee, and we're hoping that it's more of a conversation. And I think she might have time again in July if the July meeting happens. So if we don't get to all of them today, she'll be back.
Totally. I'm Julia. As Hannah said, I'm a Bowdoin student. I'm a rising junior there, and I'm studying government and education. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm happy to be here. And I think we went through the first question when you guys introduced yourselves and what fishery you're connected to. So we can move on to the next section, which has to do more with the intersections between the working waterfront and research. So I wanted to hear, in your experience, how are fishermen and the greater working waterfront community included in scientific research? If you have any specific examples.
I think the answer would be we're not really. That's why we formed this committee, is because we don't feel like fishermen are listened to or I think it's starting to catch a little bit now, in the last year, maybe two, but we're really not included in that. And that's kind of one of our biggest beefs, I think, is that we are the ones doing the research and the closest to it, but we get discounted a lot.
I think the strategy is usually DMR picks a project, and then they're like, who wants to tend our ventless traps? Instead of having it be a question or an issue brought to them by the fishing community.
True.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, like, is that how you would want the process to go? Like, do you want the question brought to you guys first? Like, what would you change about the process to make it, like, have your voices taken account of?
Well, I think you just witnessed it,
Yeah.
these applications. You know, it's a conversation where it's a mutual respect. And that's, I think, all any of us want is that respect of, we've been here, we've been doing this, we have the knowledge, and we have the experience to share with, and so that there's not the conflict. So I think that's how we want it to be, is that we're all working together so everybody can thrive.
I think what fishermen are sick of hearing is that the information and the data and the observations that we make and have on a daily basis are anecdotal, because we don't have the letters next to our name aren't PhD, they're CAP.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
Did you just design a T-shirt?
I did. I'm going to retire from politics and be a T-shirt salesman. But that being said, if you, I'm going to take this line from a friend of mine. If you look up the definition of science, it's the observation of the natural world. And what do fishermen do all day, every day?
Yeah.
Observe the natural world. So I guess we are more hopeful that some of the information and the data we share with the policymakers and the agencies is taken like other scientific data that's done in a lab is, you know, because, I mean, just because we're looking at all the variables, you know, the ones we can control and the ones we can't control. We're not in a lab environment, so it really is the best petri dish, per se, to look at any fishery policy decisions, you know, and our input. It has gotten better, I will say, but it's been a long road to get to this point, and I'm hopeful that that road continues at an expedited pace.
Yeah, totally.
It's almost impossible to get a fisherman to show up to a meeting, period. I'd say timing has a lot to do with it. You will, just an example, you'll never get a lobsterman to show up to a Monday morning meeting in July. And that seems to be when they want to have them, so. That's my 2 cents.
Awesome.
I'll speak up for David Wilson, who's not here. He does commercial shellfish harvesting, and as an example of a project that he and harvesters are deeply interested in, it's trying to figure out what is the carrying capacity of some of our bays and areas where you've got a lot of dense aquaculture and also a lot of wild commercial shellfish harvest. And so we have tried to get grants to do projects, and finally we just took money from the town of Harpswell to lease a Blueson monitor and partnered with a couple people that were willing to share with us to set that out there and do the work ourselves. It's frustrating that that is not a bigger priority for the larger agencies that have the funding and the staff and the research to jump in and do a broader project. That's, I think, a really good example of how that's what we want for research, but it doesn't align with what the scientists are offering to do.
Yeah. And then kind of continuing off that into the policy making part of it, I assume there is, because you guys said you aren't included in the scientific process much, but how do current fisheries policy align or fail to align with the on-the-water realities that you guys see every day?
Let her have it, Allison. Your time to shine.
Boy,
This could
I
end.
hope you have a
Yeah.
minute.
This could be
This is a
meeting
big
adjourned.
one.
We
Yeah.
have to go to August. Oh, I guess I wouldn't even know where to begin. I don't think we feel like they
They don't align at all.
Nothing.
I'll start it off. They don't align at all. And it's because of what I just said. You know, they're not. A prime example is in any of these rulemaking processes that take place. One very important part of the scientific equation that is never looked at is the socioeconomic effect that this is going to have on the population. And that is something where all of these coastal communities in this state rely on fishing, in some more heavily than others. That should be something that is looked at. You know, I mean, if you shut a whole fishery down and that kills an entire community, you know, is that really worth it? And I guess another way the other thing they call themselves fishery managers, but they're managing their way out of a job, because all we've seen is quotas cut, fisheries closed, and nothing is ever opened back up. And I think part of the reason for that is the socioeconomic factor. I mean, I'll use the shrimp fishery, for example. They shut that fishery down saying there was no shrimp. I'm not going to go out there and tow a shrimp net around for 2-3 weeks straight and burn a bunch of fuel if there's no shrimp. Let me go find out if there's shrimp. You know, let the fishermen go check. Don't to send a scientist that's never set a shrimp net out and ask him to catch a shrimp, and then when he comes back and says there's no shrimp and there's no mud in his net, of course there's no shrimp because you didn't get your net to bottom. You know, so they need to include fisheries more in the policy making process and the research that's being done to make these policies, so that they know that the policies are aligning with the fishermen and the fisheries in place, and the socioeconomic effects need to be better examined when making these policies, in my opinion, is the short answer.
And Matt, I assume you're talking about not just state, but federal.
Yeah, that's state, federal. And I will attest where it seems the best, and I'm biased, but where the best policies decisions I think are made are here on the local level. You know, because you have a group of fishermen and fishing businesses that live, work, and spend every day of their life out on the water here, you know. So as you saw through this aquaculture review process, these people are very knowledgeable about what's taking place out there on a day-to-day basis. So they are able to advise or kind of dictate policy that is more representative to them and their community, you know, whereas, I mean, even the lobster fishery, they're really, if you look at the state of Maine, there's 2 different lobster fisheries in this state, whether they want to admit it or not. There's the southern Maine fishery, and then there's the eastern Maine fishery. And just the whole way the fisheries operate is different, but they're managed under a blanket policy, you know, and I think a lot of that is just because of the ease, because of the large geographic nature of the state, and there's small amounts of enforcement, and then it gets even bigger when you get into the federal level. So it's getting better, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be.
So I saw an argument today on social media, and I was reading the comments, and somehow I was able to restrain my fingers from
Good job.
entertaining what my mind was telling me. But my thought was, they were arguing about science, and my thought was, I'm not sure we've ever seen science where they gave more to the fishermen. They always seem to take. An example would be, many years back, we had an 800-pound limit on codfish, and they reduced it to 400 pounds. And then the codfish, lo and behold, came back, and, okay, we're going to give you all this quota. And we ended up with an 800-pound, per day quota, which still is very low. So it doesn't seem, it always seems like once it's gone, from our perspective. And I think if at some point the science showed that the species were coming back and, they gave a little something back, there'd be more confidence in the process.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents worth.
I think that also too, until you've lived in the fishing world, I grew up in a military family, so I grew up with a lot of structure and order and plans and everything is so rigid, you know? And fishing isn't that. It's, in one word, I would describe it as chaos, honestly. And the government and policymakers always are like, this is a box, and you fit in this box. And guess what? Where these fish swim, they swim in a box. They don't. Okay? And that's the stuff of like, until you live in a fishing community, till you've fished, until you've sat with fishermen and generations of fishermen and learned how those things happen, and then people that sit at desks and air-conditioned offices and nice outfits that never probably get a stain on them are telling people that are working like dogs and see all the stuff happening, and they're making the rules that don't make sense for what's actually happening in reality on a fishing boat. You know, what time you can fish, and like just all these little nonsense things. You know, I mean, I guess I love the Sunday off for lobstering because I get to see my husband more, but and it is a rest for it, you know, the industry, and I understand that stuff. But some of the stuff doesn't align with the way that fishing works, you know, that even the way that lobster fishing, where they tell us we have to fish in zones, or how the ground fish works and how they fixed in these boxes. Like, it's honestly, it's nonsense. And what Matt was saying makes sense, is that you're gonna go where the fishery takes you to. You're not gonna, I just don't believe in overfishing. That's my own personal view. In the United States, I just don't believe that there's overfishing. Maybe in other countries, I just don't believe that is here. I think that we have looked at it way too hard to a point that it's stifling it. So that disconnect is huge between what happens here and what happens at a desk. So.
Just look at the sheer number of commercial fishermen left in the United States at this point. It's almost feasibly impossible to overfish just because there's so few of us. I mean, maybe George has a better idea, but what is there left for ground fishermen on the East Coast?
I believe there's 36 boats in Gloucester, if I'm not mistaken, and there's 25 captains and not enough crew to fill those 25 boats. So there's boats sitting there ready to go.
But remember that we've squashed our own industries to allow, we're all eating foreign fish.
Right.
So we've squashed all our own industries to buy foreign, and that's disgusting to me, honestly, because we have the best product, the cleanest product, the most managed product, and we're buying crap. So.
Julia, just a housekeeping point. We do have a meeting coming in right after us, so if you wanted to prioritize any remaining questions.
Totally, awesome.
We could do this for hours.
Yeah, for time's sake, we'll move on more to the Black Sea bass focused questions. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the project, but MCFA has started a citizen science project to fill gaps in data around Black Sea bass that have come into the Gulf of Maine. So they created a survey last summer that when you catch a Black Sea bass, you can take a photo of it and upload it, and then it comes with like length and location data, and that goes onto a story map that's accessible to everybody. And one of my main projects with MCFA is expanding outreach for that. So on that topic, have you guys seen Black Sea bass in the Gulf of Maine? And if so, like, what were the conditions around that? Like, what time of year, where, that kind of thing?
Matt?
Well, I see them, so I know you do.
Yeah, I'm sure Seth has.
Spoken like a fisherman.
Basically, if you set a lobster trap and say you go over a piece of bottom, not everywhere, but at certain times, you know, in the summer, and for some reason you haul it right back, you will catch some Black Sea bass. I don't see them if I let my trap sit, you know, even overnight. But if for some reason I was to haul one back, maybe I got a little too close to someone, or something, you know, for some reason went upside, whatever. That's when I.
And I always to speak to that too. I don't see them offshore really. Yeah, but that's partly because they're sitting longer. That my traps sit longer up. But the only place I see them is inshore.
And obviously on that short side, they're alive and well. They're crazy stuff.
I have a terrible.
That's my experience with Black Sea bass.
I baited one on one time and hauled back 3
No,
days
you
later,
did not?
and it was still alive.
It's rough. License, man.
I let that one go. I was freaked out that it was possessed.
Into the mind of a fisherman.
And now you know why they don't let us speak to policy.
Can we leave that out of the minutes, Jay?
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Mary Ann,
That's when the mic should be on.
the one time you picked
Yeah, the one time I
Yeah.
picked my
One time the mic was on, yeah.
And then I just have one more question on that. Like, obviously, like you guys are seeing black sea bass, but do you think there's a potential for a more directed black sea bass fishery in Maine?
I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Let us try. You know, this is a great example of what we were speaking to earlier. You know, there may or there may not be,
Yeah.
but there is fisheries, I know, in states to the southern of us. And like George was saying, I think Seth could speak to this as well, we catch them in our lobster traps. And the only reason now we have to let them go because the state of Maine doesn't recognize them as a fish here. Even though they are, we all know it. It's the cards from MCFA. But let us, you know, just somehow make it so we can sell them.
Yeah.
You know, and then we can find out if there is a fishery here. It would be a simple, in my mind, rulemaking process that the state could go through to change a rule that says, you know, this is a legal fish that you can catch.
Make it a pilot process.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, let the fishermen find out if we can. We're pretty good at finding markets for stuff if it's there. I mean, look at how we're able to sell monkfish and sea urchins.
Depends how you're gonna catch it though, too. Because if you set in traps, now there's more end lines in the water.
Yep.
I don't want to take end lines out.
No, I
Another
agree with
fishery
you.
put
I
more
think
in.
it's like crabs. You know, like we don't set traps for crabs, we set traps for lobsters, and crabs are a bycatch of it. It would almost be like a bycatch fishery.
Yeah, but we don't catch that many that often.
No. But maybe George will start hauling back more often. Maybe the Black Sea bass.
Well, absolutely will not.
My helper does not like me saying I have bad news because he knows what it means.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. If there's anything specific that you want me to see me do with what you guys talked about or address within the projects that I talked about, I'm really open to suggestions. Like, my projects are all in the very early stages, so it can be molded wherever they want to go. And I know Matt has my email, so if you have any other thoughts or questions, I'm happy to answer.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Is there any new business? I think I heard Matt
Yeah.
mumble.
You guys, this is my fault. You guys have been at this for a year now. So do you know what that means?
Oh,
There's just enough of you here
we have
now.
a party?
Yeah, your party is you have to elect officers again.
Oh, great.
I nominate George for the chair.
I second that.
Oh, look at that.
We don't have everyone here.
But you have
need
enough to
everyone.
vote
We
technically.
don't have-
And that's how you, Sammy, this is how if you don't want the position you're in, you nominate the person that's not here and can't argue against it.
Ooh.
See how that works?
Oh. My position doesn't
Do you
really
want to
require
argue
me
against
to
it,
do
George?
I come down with the vid, you'll be in charge.
much. I'm okay with that.
That's good. I'm good. If you guys are good, I'll give her another go for another
And
year.
Samantha
Thank you,
for-
Allison, for your support.
As
Again.
always.
You're gonna vote.
You've done great.
You're gonna
George.
technically vote on George because
Yep.
you got a first and a second.
So,
All those in favor?
yeah,
All of us.
thank
You
you.
can vote for yourself too, George.
You can.
Never.
Now you need a vice chair.
Samantha?
Can we elect the new selectman
I
liaison?
nominate
No.
Sam as the vice chair again.
Yeah.
I second that.
And then our secretary is Jay. I don't think anybody's gonna fight you for that. Jay.
No, you can have it.
We're
Unless you
getting
don't
it.
want it.
You want it all on one
We
slate?
can vote somebody else into this position.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not
No.
here.
Exactly. If you want to give it to
No.
somebody that's not here, Jay.
We want
No, I
want
know.
her.
It makes
She
me feel
stays.
useful.
So, we never
You're
got
a
an
great
I was
answer.
just gonna
taker.
say, if you didn't want to.
So we can
now.
move this along.
Good
We didn't
time
get
to
an
give
answer
it
on
up.
Sam, Allison.
So make it all one
Motion.
slate, then add Jay to the slate.
Okay, we
as
can do
the-
both at once?
Yeah, you can do it
Okay.
all. And
We're
Sammy.
gonna keep all officers the same as they are right now.
Yeah,
Second
you're done.
that.
Perfect.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Thank
All
you.
that-
You guys.
All those in favor?
Thank
Look
you.
at that.
Good
Yeah.
Did
job.
we have a first and a second?
Yeah.
First was Allison, second was Seth.
There you go. Perfect.
You guys killed it.
Unanimous.
That was a big meeting. You moved a lot of
Look at
material.
us maturing
And we're
after
under-
a year.
It's over.
At this point, I'm almost certain that it's Billy Saxon's fault that these meetings go so long,
Yep.
She actually said,
just for the record. So, is there any more?
totally.
Is there-
Jay, you have to make sure George's comment there at the end is in the minutes, so when
You
Kelly
you
reviews
can put
it.
that in the
I
minutes.
want Billy
You
to
would
read
like it,
that.
because you told me we're gonna be late because Billy's not here to adjourn. But
Right.
I think he's the reason why
Yeah.
we're always late.
Yeah, you can put that in
That's
there.
what George said.
Is there any more new business? Okay,
Did you have anything
here's a
else, Darcy?
thought. I would entertain a very brief discussion, since we're caught up on LPAs, on skipping the July 8th meeting because it is the busy season for everyone, and this meeting is the poorest attendance we've had yet.
I'm
So,
already erasing.
obviously, things are getting busy.
We'll get your.
And we started, I guess, July or August last year, so.
Yeah. You guys, I don't think
Day off.
you've taken any months off.
No, we
since
haven't missed
No,
anything,
they
so.
covered
You've been steady. You've done
Does
well.
anyone want to have a discussion about that, or just make a motion to take July
I
8th
move
off?
we take July off.
Woo.
Anybody like to second that?
I'll second. Take
All in
July
favor?
off.
Okay,
Look at that.
awesome. Great job, guys. So the next meeting will be August 12th. And since Billy's not here, Seth,
I say we leave.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.